It's the last day of Pride Centers, which means we can go back to celebrating normal people tomorrow. After years of the woke mob silencing and disregarding us every June, a few brave patriots have stood up and decided enough is enough. It's time to stand for family values, for truth, for America. Thus, the Hetero Awesome Fest was born. Jokes aside, I was pretty disappointed when I first heard about Hetero Awesome Fest, and not because the concept of straight pride is ridiculous. I'm actually all for it. Just like how I think billionaires should get more tax cuts. I've never talked about this publicly, so I'm gonna be very vulnerable for a sec. But I've toyed with the idea of doing a live show one day. Like, I do my thing on stage, have a meet and greet, and if that show does well, I could take it around the country. Maybe around the world. But since the Hetero Awesome Fest name is taken, what am I gonna call my future tour? I gotta scrap all the branding now. I'm down $25,000. It's okay though, all right? They beat me to it, and at the end of the day, it's for the greater good. But I'm sure you're all dying to know, what is the Hetero Awesome Festival? Sadly, it already took place from June 20th to 21st. I was in bed for a week when I realized I couldn't make it, but hopefully talking about it today will hype us up for next year's Hetero Awesome Fest. At least that's how I'm looking at it. So let's read the description straight from the events page. As the good Lord intended. Get ready for the Hetero Awesome Fest, slamming into Cecil D. Andrus Park, right in front of Boise's Capitol, June 20th and 21st, 2025. This ain't your limp-wristed woke fest. It's a full-on celebration of family values with guts. Limp-wristed woke fest is crazy work. We're bringing the heat with killer food, ice-cold beer, and bold wines, plus live music to crank the vibe. Expect riveting speeches that'll wake the dead, booths from family-owned businesses and rock-solid supporters, all standing tall for our battle lines. What vendors do we think we're at Hetero Awesome Fest? Bass Pro Shops, maybe? Cracker Barrel? The NRA? And in case you're wondering what they mean by battle lines, the battle lines of Heterosexual Awesomeness Inc. are the unyielding front where we plant our flag for family, truth, and liberty. No retreat, no surrender. Bros acting like they're going to war. We're slugging it out against the gutless enemies of traditional values, abortion's life-crushing lies, socialism's family-choking leash, big pharma's pill-pushing scams, and the LGBTQ plus agenda's anti-kin chaos, to name a few. From exposing human trafficking's evil to torching woke indoctrination... From exposing human trafficking's evil to torching woke indoctrination in schools, we've got 7 non-negotiable stands. Each one a hill will die on to protect the sacred core of family. This is where we fight and where we win. Armed with grit and God's design. They have grits? They managed to fit every conservative brain rot term in one paragraph. It's kind of impressive. So the Hetero Awesome Festival is hosted by Heterosexual Awareness Inc., a real nonprofit organization in Idaho. We're a relentless tribe of truth seekers, forged with steel spines and unshakable resolve to defend traditional family values against a world drowning in mushy lies. This is Heterosexual Awesomeness Inc., a 501c3 that doesn't bend, break, or back down. Family's the bedrock, non-negotiable, and we're here to fortify it with fearless grit. We expose the anti-family agendas tearing at society's core, arm the masses with clarity, and rally the brave to stand tall. No grift, no fancy cars, no padded pockets, just pure, unfiltered truth. Fuel this fight. Drop your support at link. Okay, quite literally the vaguest description of a nonprofit I've ever heard. And apparently they track every dollar with Doge-style transparency. I don't like the sound of that. However, this isn't their first rodeo. They're not the new kids on the block anymore. It's actually the second year in a row Heterosexual Awesomeness Inc. is celebrating Heterosexual Awareness Month. If it weren't for heteros, none of us would be here, and we're here to celebrate that truth with good drinks, great people, and a whole lot of fun. I love how he's saying this as if queer couples don't have biological children or families. Hetero Awesome Fest wasn't even their first event this year. The founder, Mark Fitzpatrick, also owns a bar, and every June they offer a special drink menu for hetero pride, including the Brojito Baby Maker Mimosa, Teton Russian, and Alpha Mule. Special events include hetero merch parties with exclusive discounts, a June 7th International Procreation Day celebration, and a June 14th Presidential Trump huge heterosexual birthday party. Sign me up! All are welcome to join us at this bar and Hetero Awesome Fest to celebrate heterosexuality, unless you're acting like an idiot. This is about coming together, having a good time, and standing up for what's right. What makes these hetero events extra ridiculous is the fact that you could just walk into any bar any night for that experience. Because unless otherwise specified, every bar is a straight bar. You have the luxury year-round to choose where you want to grab a drink without fear of being discriminated against for your sexuality. The fact that you react this way when a marginalized group like the LGBTQ community gets some recognition shows that you view equality as a threat. Your egos are so fragile that you need to host procreation parties. However, before we even consider going to an event as prestigious as Hetero Awesome Fest, we need a nice outfit. I'm trying to serve some heteros see you next Tuesday, if you get what I'm saying. And thankfully, heteroawesome.org has plenty of merch to choose from. We can go with the classic hetero symbol tee or the plain old hetero awesome shirt. Let me show you the one I've been eyeing though. Faith, family, freedom. Our favorite F words. Phew, I thought you were gonna include a different F word for a sec. Oh, this is an interesting sticker. It's a holographic rainbow with text that reads, "Copyright God." Didn't know you can do that. The Hetero Awesome merch shop also offers a variety of flags to hang over your bed or gun cabinet. As they say, God loves flags. They sold me, is all I'll say. Like, where can I put in my credit card information? Now, if you don't mind, let me sell you on today's sponsor. Sorry, I hate to interrupt another woman, but do you have a moment to talk about your data? Okay, we'll start off with a group exercise. Google your name, phone number, or address right now. What if I told you that data brokers are making billions off of selling your personal information to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers without your consent? And even when you do ask these companies to remove your data, they purposely make the process so confusing and difficult. So if you've ever wondered why you keep getting random calls from numbers with no caller ID or spam in your inbox, this is probably why. When I Googled my personal email address before recording, nothing came up. And you know why? That's because I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. No, but really, I've been a customer for almost 2 years at this point. Love you guys. So let me tell you why I use Aura and why you should too. Aura is an all-in-one digital security tool, and they work around the clock to keep your data safe. They'll notify you if your personal info is leaked on the dark web. They also send real-time fraud alerts for your credit and banking accounts, and if anything does go wrong, Aura offers $5 million in identity theft insurance with fraud experts ready to help you 24/7. With Aura, you'll also receive a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. Aura is literally the Swiss Army knife of digital security, which is why I've been a customer for so long. I don't leave my information vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. So why not try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/Annamarie. If anyone deserves to make money off your personal information, it's you. Again, that's aura.com/Annamarie for a 14-day free trial. Shout out to Aura for keeping me and my sinners safe online. Now let's get back to your scheduled programming. Before the ad break, I feel like I glossed over the brilliant minds behind Hetero Awesome Fest, and dare I leave a stone unturned. And who better to start with than the man, the myth, the founder of Hetero Awesomeness Inc., Mark Fitzpatrick.
And it may sound harsh. The truth may sound harsh. Yes, sodomy is sin.
Right.
And acting out homosexually is sin. The Bible says even wearing effeminate clothing for a man is sinful.
I need someone to play the grinder notification sound next to him to see if his ears perk up like a dog. I hate when Christians say the most awful shit and they're like, "You're a disgusting person, you're going to hell." But I'm telling you this because I love you. It's like saying, no offense, but disguising bigotry as love doesn't make it less offensive. But Mark is fighting the good fight against the woke mob's alt-sex obsession. Alt-sex obsession? You're making us sound a lot cooler than we actually are, Mark. A 15-year former cop, he loves Jesus, his wife, and 6 kids with a passion that drives his entrepreneurial spine. Dead set against all things woke, he's a truth-hunting, family-first titan leading our battle lines with zero retreat. Against all things woke, the does that even mean anymore? If you ask 10 conservatives to define woke, you're gonna get 10 different answers. Perhaps I'm speaking too soon, so let's hear from the man himself.
I was in the kitchen with my family and we're discussing my daughter's birthday, which is in June. And we're thinking about what we can do. Can't go downtown to Boise during that time because of Pride Fest and everything that happens with it. I got off track, okay? I got off track from the birthday and I was thinking to myself, what can we do to celebrate in June that would be different than what's going on downtown, that would be different than what Pride has been celebrating every June? What if we celebrated God's design for sexuality? What would that look like?
Yeah, it's called church, bestie. You can live it up and celebrate God's design every week if you wanted to. Dozens of holidays every year, but heaven forbid the gays get 1 month. It's crazy how this guy made his daughter's birthday all about how much he hates queer people.
And within a few seconds, I thought, man, heterosexuality is awesome.
Is it? I mean, it is. I love man.
It wasn't more than 2 hours of thinking.
Yeah, we can tell.
We posted that on Mondays would be beers for breeders, just a free beer for any male who's a heterosexual on Mondays.
Sorry, babe, I can't watch Love Island with you tonight. Cause it's Monday. You know I always go to breeder night with the boys. Are we sure this isn't just genius satire?
On Thursdays, we did her heterosexual happy hour, which was happy hour pricing all day long for the ladies who were heterosexuals. And then Wednesdays was the couples that were heterosexuals. They got a discount off their entire bill.
So if a gay couple shows up on Duo Deal Wednesdays, I assume you add 15% to their bill? Then Mark explains how hetero awesomeness only took off because they were in the news, and he was confused about why people were calling him a bigot. A liberal news network called KTVB7 interviewed Mark at his bar and asked him if Hetero Awareness Month is a quote-unquote hate thing.
This isn't a hate thing?
Absolutely not. No hate at all. It's a love thing.
There's no hate like Christian love, but I wonder what one of these shindigs looks like.
All right, welcome everybody to Heterosexual Male Monday. Are there any heterosexuals here tonight?
Yeah. I guess people need somewhere to pregame before a Trump rally.
The positivity was overwhelmingly more powerful than the negativity. As bad as the negativity was, and as disgusting as it was, the positivity was amazing and really kind of made it all worth it.
All right, hold on. Let's read this card here. Wow, you guys are brave. Good for you. Even before I just read about the backlash, I wanted to reach out. Why can't I celebrate my heterosexuality? I'm an older white woman who feels totally invisible. You can celebrate your heterosexuality, just don't do it in front of me. Something should be kept behind closed doors. Hope some of the backlash dies down. Stay strong. I'm sure way more people are rooting for you than you realize. That old silent majority. Thank you. That's the key word right there. Majority. Why do you need to be celebrated when you're a part of a group that's always been accepted by society? It's never been illegal to be a straight white woman. But I'm sorry that your town's annual Pride Parade makes you feel less special, Susan. But we're the snowflakes.
What I learned was that the country and the world, for that matter, was basically at this point where they're saying enough is enough. Somebody is standing up to say I'm celebrating heterosexuality during this month, and it was like overwhelming support from people.
Yes, preach it, Mark. Maybe you're right. The other 335 days of the year you get aren't enough. Here, take our month. No, really, I insist.
I think Heterosexual Awesomeness Month was a huge success.
Hell yeah, brother. I love my heterosexual husband and I love my heterosexual wife. Unfortunately, this is kind of camp. I need a gay couple to rock this at a Pride Parade next year. But as they say, there's no I in team, and there's no I in Mark either. It takes more than one innovator to pull off something as big as Hetero Awesomeness Fest. So let's meet more of the team.
What's up? My name is Ian Carroll.
Wait a sec, what does this shirt say? Change starts bottom up. Does it now? According to who? Your boyfriend? Face down, ass up. That's the way I like to
When I was a young person, I was busy doing things like snowboarding in the mountains and rock climbing in the Cascades and running marathons in the woods. I was not paying attention to politics or to what's happening in our country.
Wow, what a privilege that is to not have to worry about politics.
And although we come from vastly different worlds, we align right there in the middle at family values, at core American understanding of what makes our culture work and at what's tearing it all apart. But the tragic irony is that we now live in a world in 2025 where heterosexual people seem to have to fight for their right to love who they love and to marry who they want to marry and to just live normal human lives and raise high quality children that will be the leaders in America tomorrow.
Where are heterosexual couples being persecuted? Also, does it not click that there are queer couples who share family values too, who also want to raise good children? But they don't count because they break the mold of what the nuclear family is supposed to be. What about child-free straight people or infertile couples? Are they destroying the family, or is that just on the gays?
So here's the plan. All across this country, there's all kinds of corrupt political machinations that are being used to undermine the family unit and just basic family values in our culture. We're going to expose that. We're going to pay teams of people to dig into all the small local elections, all the people that are going after family values, all the people that are promoting trans ideology for our kids, all the people that are pushing just completely inappropriate sexual and gender education in our schools to our youngest kids. That's got to stop.
He said it! He said the thing!
They're transing the children!
With all due respect, the kids can barely read these days. When are teachers supposed to squeeze in gender ideology?
So I'm the first ambassador for HA, but I certainly won't be the last. And I would invite all of you to think carefully. Do you stand for family values, or are you going to stand by and watch as our kids are taught trans education in our schools, as surgeries and hormone replacement therapies are being conducted on minors all across our country, as regular families are being persecuted for just being straight?
Doctors are not performing surgeries on trans kids, and they're not giving them hormones either. In fact, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health recommends that hormone treatments start no earlier than 14 years old, and surgeries be offered only in rare exceptions in persons as young as 15. Teens who are 16 to 17 years old are generally limited to receiving only top surgeries, and they must be consistent and persistent in their gender identity for years, take gender-affirming hormones for some time, and have approvals from both their parents and doctors, according to Aaron Fields, a spokesperson for the Human Rights Campaign. In all cases, gender-affirming surgeries are only performed after multiple discussions with both mental health providers and physicians, including endocrinologists and/or surgeons, to determine if surgery is the appropriate course of action. I beg you to turn off Fox News and pick up a book. We also have this guy named Ryan Matta on the team.
I am a proud, unapologetic American patriot, standing tall for God, guns, and freedom as an ambassador for heterosexual awesomeness. I am joining this movement to celebrate the natural, God-given order of men and women, rejecting the rainbow-soaked LGBTQ agenda that's been shoved down our throats by woke elites.
The jokes write themselves. Turns out my bit at the beginning wasn't too far off. Now that we know 3 of the patriots behind this revolution, behind the fight for straight pride, it begs the question: how did the Hetero Awesome Fest turn out? Well, you'll be happy to learn that there were dozens in attendance. In a post-festival interview, Mark blamed the chilly and breezy weather and the quote-unquote morally bankrupt and degenerate pride community for keeping people away.
Could it be that people just didn't want to be a part of it?
No, a lot of people wanted to be a part of it.
But they weren't.
No, we had 700 people show up to the event. 700 to 1,000 over the weekend.
KTVB7 reported that there were around 30 to 50 people at any time on both days. Okay, not too shabby. That's about the size of a small wedding or a big house party. It's a bigger turnout than I expected, so hey, a win is a win. And Mark said it was all worth it, despite losing revenue.
One thing I learned is these are expensive.
Yes.
Because like even just like the police officers are $11,500 plus security. We have security that's $7,000. Anyways, it all comes up to $85,000-ish, and I told them we've only raised about $20,000 to $25,000.
This is not about money. If it was about money, I would have charged more than $5 for a beer.
And that's called owning the libs. Imagine being down $60,000 because you hate the LGBTQ community that much. You could have gone to NYU for a year with that much money. You could have bought 3 brand spanking new 2025 Toyota Corollas. Well, more like 2 probably with the fees and all, but you get what I mean. Besides the financial loss, an event called Hetero Awesome Fest was not without controversy. As promised on the website, there were musical performances throughout both days of the festival, including local LGBTQ artist named Daniel Hamrick. According to Daniel, he reached out to the event organizers 2 months earlier to book his band Buzz Bomb 711 for the festival and ran into no issues. I never straight up said, I want to play music in support of your message, but I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so enthusiastic about doing this, which I was, Hamrick said, adding that at one point there was a long silence from the organizers, and he assumed they had Googled him and found his social media, where he posts about politics and has a profile dedicated to his Renaissance Festival persona. But then one day he received an email with administrative information for musicians, and I was like, oh great, I'm in. At the top of his performance that Saturday, Daniel asked if there were any veterans in the audience.
Now before I get started, Earl told me to talk about myself a bit. We got any veterans out here today?
I'm not seeing any.
Got a handful of veterans? All right. I'd know if I'm supposed to wear bits of my uniform when I'm not in uniform, but as a former Army Ranger, I thought I might wear my little tambourine here today. It's kind of special to me, so I figured I'd have it with me for this little performance.
Then Daniel took off his button-up, which revealed a Canyon County Pride shirt, and put on a black jean jacket with various pins, a pink triangle on his chest, and a rainbow heart on his left sleeve. In case you don't know the symbolism, the Nazis used to make gay men in concentration camps wear pink triangles. Then the band began performing their song Boy, about a young trans guy.
And that is a pride heart on his arm.
They put him in dresses to keep him in line. They say it's a phase and it's all in his mind. They put him in ballet, he wants to play ball. What matters to him doesn't matter at all. The boy that everyone thought was a girl.
About 2 minutes in the song, Mark Fitzpatrick, our boy, ripped the microphone away from Daniel, right before getting into a minor altercation with a different man.
At church they condemned him and called him a she.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I thought y'all were the party of free speech. This looks an awful lot like censorship to me. The other man was escorted off the festival grounds, but he was not arrested. Later, Mark told NBC News, our festival is a fortress for traditional family values. Faith, freedom, truth, and the sanctity of what makes us human. He lied to us to get a chance to play on stage in front of our guests, children included, stating his act would honor that. When he got on stage, he threw on part of a military uniform dishonoring the army and unleashed a song glorifying transgender ideology. It was a vile anthem pushing the lie that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. So I yanked his mic and told him to leave. Daniel told NBC that he wrote the song last year in solidarity for the trans community. The song is for everyone who listens to it and feels heard and seen and maybe just a little less alone, he said, adding that it's for people who might be in conservative religious communities who don't have a community they can trust. Know that your pastor or your parents or your Boy Scout troop leader isn't this insurmountable, unquestionable force of nature, but that if you have to hide right now, then that's what you have to do. You have to survive, but once you are out of that, there is a community that is ready to take you in and love you and support you. He also stated that his band is working on releasing Boy and another song on all streaming platforms. But that's not all, obviously. It never is. On the first day of Hetero Awesome Fest, the Backlash podcast was boots on the ground, live streaming in front of the festival with Mark and another ambassador from Hetero Awesomeness Inc. This is the kind of journalism we need nowadays. None of this fake news bullshit. About an hour into the stream, the group was discussing why they love living in Boise.
This city gets a bad rap.
Yeah, it's clean.
It's clean.
Very clean.
I always hear.
And Giggles McGee on the left, aka David Riley, gave a very interesting answer.
But it's a really nice place. It's
For
beautiful.
an American city,
it's top-notch American city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are still very good bars around, great food. There's the Basque District. Again, it's clean. There aren't any black people here.
And tons of Mormons, which
There's
is
a lot of Mormons.
chef's kiss in a city.
Sorry, what was that?
Aren't any black people here?
The party of family values, everyone. They just want to protect families, you guys, except if they're black or gay. But really, are we surprised that the dude with not one but 2 Bitcoin stickers is a racist piece of shit? But this event is about love. White, heterosexual love, that is. KTVB7 also asked Mark about Giggle's racist comments.
And that's okay with you?
This I would not have said it. It's not what I would do. He's his own person. So whatever you want to know what he meant by it, if it was meant to be derogatory or a joke or whatever, he has his own show with his own style, and that was all it was. He was not sitting in front of any crowd of people. Nobody heard what he was saying at the event.
Because no one heard the racist remark, it makes it okay. Did it even happen? It's like if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around, did it even make a sound? Evan Hansen be like, so Mark hates queer couples who are just living their lives, only asking to be treated like everyone else, to the point where he's okay with dropping tens of thousands of dollars on this glorified barbecue, let's be real. But when his racist friend makes an offensive joke right in front of him, oh, that's his business. He's his own person. Right. Flawless logic here.
Are you okay with it?
Well, okay with what?
With him saying that.
Okay. If I'm going to be not okay with things or apologize for things, I would have to apologize far more for all the wicked pride people who came into our event and did wicked things.
So he is okay with it. Also, by wicked pride people doing wicked things, he's referring to David Hamrick as if he didn't invite him.
You're saying that has something to do with me?
You invited him there.
That's totally
Did you not?
I invited everybody there.
After Mark's poor attempt at deflecting, the reporter goes back and asks him about his friend's racist comment again.
His whole persona is hate, anti-Semitism, and white nationalism.
Go talk to him about it.
I've tried, but you're saying you lie down with dogs, that proverb, right? You are who you hang out with.
No, you're not.
Okay.
This dude is not real. Holy shit. What a sad excuse of a man. It reminds me of this quote. Wait, hold on. If there's a Nazi at the table and 10 other people sitting there talking to him, you got a table with 11 Nazis.
I'm not racist, okay?
Okay.
All races are equal if Christ is your king.
Let this be a reminder that it's okay to hold your friends accountable, especially if they're spewing harmful rhetoric. It's, quite frankly, a shame we missed out on this year's Hetero Awesome Fest. And while I'm still devastated as ever, Mark's Bar is hosting a 3-day hetero pride event in September, starting with Straight Female Friday, where heterosexual women with XX chromosomes get 50% off one drink. So if you're a straight woman with Turner syndrome, you gotta sit this one out. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Saturday is for the Straight Stud Club, where heterosexual men with XY chromosomes get 50% off one drink. That means all you straight dudes with Klinefelter syndrome are out of luck. You should have thought of that when you were in utero. That same night, there will also be a soiree for straight singles, followed by heterosexual karaoke. So you hate pride, but you want to get a bunch of single men together for dinner, drinks, and karaoke. Now that's called family values. And finally, Sunday is Beers for Breeders Night. Thank God they're bringing Breeder Night back. To cap off the weekend, anyone who identifies as super straight gets a free pint on the house. Let's raise a glass to keeping it real and celebrating the natural order. Put me in, coach. They missed out on calling it Super Straight Sunday. Not that I'm encouraging this behavior, but they had the opportunity to do the funniest thing. But yeah, that's Hetero Awesome Fest for you. After today, I hope that each and every single one of you sees the light and understands why heterosexuality is so awesome. So shout out to God's design. Shout out to Jesus. Sorry your fandom is so cringe. Shout out to Larry the Cable Guy for letting me raid his closet. Shout out to Aura for sponsoring today's video. And most importantly, shout out to you, the sinners at home, for making it this far. Not just in the video, but in life in general. Too bad we all turn straight tomorrow. That's a bummer. So for the last time this year, bye gay.